Alrighty guys, so to get started with this tutorial, I'm going to start off by using my favorite primer. This is the Pore Defense Primer Serum by Hard Candy. You can find this stuff at Walmart. It is so good. One of the best drugstore primers that I've ever used. Helps to smooth out my skin and also helps with my oily skin as well. And I find that it helps make my makeup last so much longer, which is of course another reason why I love it. Next, I'm going to go in with my foundation, which is my most favorite part ever. My MAC Studio Fix Fluid in the shade NC35. I'm just going to shake it up real fast. This is literally the best foundation, in my opinion, for a long wearing, all day, full coverage foundation. If you need something to last you all day, this is the foundation that you need to try. You do have to buy a pump separately for this foundation because it does obviously not have one. This is just some of the product. I know it looks like a lot, but just because I dabbled some on everywhere, basically all over my hand. My favorite way to apply this foundation is with a beauty blender. This is the Beauty Junkies. You could get it off Amazon. You could get about 4 of them for like $13 or something. I'll leave the video where I talk about more about this in the description box below if you're interested. But I'm just going to take this and start applying it to my skin. I always like to start right down here because then I can start to blend it down my neck a little bit. And then slowly start to bring it in. I grab a little bit of product at a time and slowly build up the product that you need. I like to apply it with a beauty blender type of sponge because I feel like with a brush, it's just not my favorite. I feel like it puts it on a little bit too heavy. And with the beauty blender, I like how I can control it and I can build it up as much as I want it to. This is literally like my go-to foundation when I need this to last all night long. I love it. MAC has a awesome range of different shades for every skin tone. It is just so awesome. You could go inside the MAC store. They can match you up. This is what I use a lot on my weddings when we're doing makeup and everything. This foundation is just literally just amazing. I cannot say enough good things about this foundation. Now that one full layer is done, I kind of look at my skin in the mirror and I'm like, okay, do I need a little bit more coverage? And I feel like I just need a little bit more right here and a little bit more right here. So I'm just going to take out a little bit more product and I'm going to go ahead and build the foundation up on these certain areas right here. If you're getting married, this foundation, you need it. Amazing for brides, bridesmaids, mother of the brides. Not have to worry about my makeup budging whatsoever, especially because I have oily skin and I know this foundation is just going to look flawless. Moving on, I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, one of my favorite concealers ever. Full coverage. Everything in this tutorial is going to be like full coverage, full glam. I'm not scared of the makeup. And we need this to last all day long. Okay, as I was saying, this concealer, super full coverage, will not crease once you set it with powder. Amazing, blends out so easily, full coverage, long wearing, just perfect. And then whatever's left on my beauty blender, I'll kind of take the foundation a little bit around my mouth just to highlight a little bit down the bridge of my nose, and then a little bit on the center of the forehead. And then I'll take the other side of the sponge and kind of go over that just to blend in. That way there's no harsh lines. I personally like to use this concealer to brighten up my under eye area a little bit, so I only go about one shade lighter than my foundation or than my skin tone, just so that way it could really brighten it but not look white like in photos and everything. So next I'm going to use my Airspun loose face powder. This is one of my favorites. Also the RCMA, this is another one of my favorites. I can leave some, what I personally like to do, so I'll take my Airspun here, pour some in the cap, and then I'll take some of my RCMA powder, which you do not have to do this. This is like really me being extra. And pour some of that in the cap, and I kind of make my own little concoction, and I'll just kind of mix it up a little bit. Again, you don't have to do this, like I'm just being a little much right now, but if you have both of them, that is a great option. I'll try to list some more options for you guys in the description box, but I'm going to go ahead and take this powder. I just blended out all the creases. I just blended out my under eye area one more time, just so that way I'm not setting it if it creased. Picking up some of the powder on here, looking down, and I'm baking. So I'm baking because when I bake, my concealer does not crease whatsoever. I'm also putting it on the side of my nose because I tend to get a little bit oily around my nose. And by baking it, it's really going to lock everything in. It's also going to ensure that your concealer doesn't crease, like I mentioned. And so that's that. Next, I'm going to go into my favorite Charlotte Tilbury powder right here. This is literally my favorite setting powder. Another option though, if you don't, because this one can be really pricey, if you're not wanting to purchase that one, another really good one is this Bare Minerals one. This one's really good. The Bare Pro Golden Ivory one you could use to set your foundation. This one's a good one. Bare Minerals one is really good, like if you're wanting to add more coverage and then set your foundation too. This one's a good one. I'm in the color Golden Ivory 08. So this is what it looks like. So it will add coverage to your already full coverage foundation. So it can look a little bit heavy. That's something that you're not wanting to do. I would definitely recommend like a translucent powder. The MAC blot powder, that one's also a really good one. LA Girl Pro powder, this is the high definition setting powder. This one's also a really good one to set your full face without adding coverage, because adding coverage can add coverage and make things just look a little bit heavier. My favorite though that I'm going to use today is the Charlotte Tilbury. As you can see, I'm already running out. So I'm just going to set my skin. And I just want to tell you guys one more time that I do have oily skin. So this foundation routine works amazing for oily skin people. Also works really good for dry skin people, but you want to make sure that you have exfoliated and that you've really moisturized your skin before you're doing something like this. If you have really dry skin and then you're setting this with powder and everything, you can really draw attention to all those dry areas on your face. So be sure to exfoliate and to moisturize. Setting this, everything is locked in loaded, ready to go. I prefer to be completely matted out like how I am right now, and then I'll go back in myself and add a highlight in all the appropriate places, because this is a long wearing makeup, so throughout the day your natural oils are going to come to the surface. I'm going to move on to blush, bronzer, and highlight. To be honest with you guys, there's so many different good bronzers out there. The one that I'm going to use today is the Urban Decay Beached Bronzed one. So this bronzer doesn't claim to be like long wearing or 24-hour bronzer or anything. This is just one of my personal favorites. Bronzer and blush is always like the first thing to go. So if you're like taking pictures or a special occasion, some of the things that you might need to touch up throughout the day is like blush. Definitely carry with you like a blush and then a blotting powder or blotting sheets, just so that way you can touch up your face a little bit. As for blush, one of my favorite blushes that I feel is long wearing on myself is the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush. This is personally one of my favorite blush colors. MAC blushes are of course some of the best blushes out there in my opinion. I love MAC blushes. So if you're able to pick up, like if it's your special day or whatever, if you just have like one favorite MAC blush, my personal favorite is Melba. NARS, this is a mini one that I have. NARS blushes are really great as well. The recommendation that I'll give you guys is the Anastasia Blush Trios. This particular one is in Peachy Love, and this is the one that I'm going to be using today. My favorite highlights are from MAC. Of course, I love MAC products just because they're not as expensive as like a NARS or Dior, stuff like that. And honestly, they just have really good stuff. This is the MAC Extra Dimensional Highlights or Skin Finish in Oh Darling. MAC has tons of different ones though that you could choose from. This one's absolutely gorgeous. Another really popular one is of course the Becca Highlight. This is the Champagne Pop. This is the one I'm going to be using today. Now, like I was saying, I like to mattify my skin and then I'll go back in and add the highlight just so that way I have that pop in the appropriate places. That way I'm not like dewy or too glowy and like all the wrong places, like all around my nose and stuff. So where I'll put the highlight is like right here at the top of my cheekbones. Just a really light highlight because this will catch the light. This looks so pretty and natural. As natural as you can get with the powder highlight. So I'm just going really, really softly. And then I like to carry it above my brow bone a little bit. And then sometimes if I'm just feeling a little extra, I'll take just a tiny bit and smile. And I'll put it right on my apple of my cheeks. Again, I don't do this all the time, but it's a nice thing to add if you're wanting to. And then just a little bit down the center of my nose. And then what I'll do, this is like pretty much the point where I'll finish up my lips, my eyes, stuff like that. So at this point, my makeup is locked in. So what I'm going to do, you do not need to do this. I don't do this every single time, but I do want to put it in this video because on occasions I will do that. And that is set my face with the Skindinavia, the makeup finishing spray. This one in particular is for oil control. Another really good one that I personally like is the Urban Decay De-Slick, I think it's still called, the oil control setting spray. That one I also have in my kit as well. That one I absolutely love as well, and it's a little bit easier to get your hands on at like Ulta or Sephora, whereas this one you do have to purchase online. But to me, they both do the same thing, so the Urban Decay one is just as good. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray. Again, I don't do this every single time because I don't remember every single time, to be honest with you. When I'm doing this kind of makeup look, it's literally like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and I need my makeup to last me all day long. So the last thing on my mind at 4 o'clock in the morning is to set my face. So I feel like as long as I have my foundation, my concealer, my setting powder, I'm gonna be locked in. So that is the end of today's video. I really hope it was helpful for you guys and that you guys can take away some tips, recommendations from this video. If you guys have any more questions for me whatsoever, please leave them in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. If you work for long work days, if you're standing up in a wedding, if you are the bride yourself, this will work amazing. Believe me, I've trusted this, I've tested this. I just did this same exact makeup routine last week at 5 o'clock in the morning and I didn't take my makeup off till 11 o'clock and it felt like it was literally 100 degrees outside and I was sweating. I came home and my makeup was still put. So this, I definitely 100% stand behind this whole routine. So again, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys all in my next video.